Uh, Not telling anybody I'm going live because we just got done. The internet is installed. It is up and running. And figured I might as well break it in with a stream and see how well this does. See if we have any packet loss, any frame drops, any of that fun stuff. Uh, if all goes well, this should be a almost uninterrupted stream. We should be good through the whole thing. I don't know how long I'm going to stream for. I more or less am just doing this to kind of do a test, guys. So we'll see what happens. Let me click this so it'll move around with me. There's the Anycubic Cobra. I didn't tell anybody I was going live, so I don't expect anybody to pop in, at least not right away. I guess I could, now that I have like a, well, hey, 3D Medic Vince, good to see you, sir. Hey, so 3D Medic Vince, I got my new internet service installed today. Took a day off of work to do that. And by day off, I mean I still have to go in tonight. They're having a movie night for the high school kiddos. So this is what they're getting. I'm not going to change. I'm going in dressed casually. I'm going to get everything set up for the movie night. And then I'm going to go hide in my office with my computer and work on stuff. But yeah, so in my area, there's a fiber company that came through the area and they're doing fiber installation. Their fiber installation is twice the download speed, which I won't see right now. My home network doesn't do 2 gigabit. Um, but we have 2 gig down, 2 gig up. So we have 2 gig symmetric to the house now. Uh, so I figured might as well lock in that guaranteed for life rate now and get the extra internet that I'm not going to use, and then down the road as I upgrade my home network, I can I can have that sitting on top waiting for me to utilize it. But Clown Hammer, good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Gang, there's some stuff in my personal life that kind of got crazy. I haven't really streamed. Hopefully, seems like things might be getting a little better. Uh, Side note, my grandson is going to be getting discharged from the hospital hopefully in about the next hour. And then it's about an hour drive to the first stop on the way home. And then he'll hang out there for a while. Then he'll go to his second stop on his way home. And then he'll go to his third stop on his way home. And then he'll get to go where he is currently going to reside and relax and be a little man doing little man things. So little man is on his way. Hmm. But how's the stream looking to you guys? Because my upload speed went from again 50-ish meg, 60 meg, somewhere between 50 and 60 meg to 1 gig at the moment. So we have a 1 gig upload because my home network again uh, is 1 gig. Uh, but with some time and some monies, I'm hoping to add in. I've had 0 dropped frames, so that's good. But I am hoping to add in a nice 2.5 gig backbone between the house network and out here. And I'd like to get a 2.5 gigabit switches for the house so that this way everything is at 2.5 and we can utilize pretty much all of that internet speed. Um, Obviously, the limitation will be the devices that are connected, but want to get a 2.5 NIC for this computer that I'm streaming from so that I'll be able to stream at up to 2 gig. Yes. Danny B, good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Like I said, this isn't going to be a 3D printing stream. I'm not doing a filament giveaway. This is just a kind of break in the internet. I figure I'll stream for however long and we'll see how it does. I'm more or less reran the auto config wizard for OBS with the new network connection speeds to see what it would recommend. And it is recommending 1080 60 and at a video, was it the video bit rate of 10,000 plus. And currently, it dips a little bit from time to time, but it's staying over 10,000 on the kilobits per second. You know, you are prepping for the Core 1 conversion on your Mark 4S this weekend. Nice, Vince. That's awesome. Audio is a bit low. Yeah, it's because I got the microphone like way over here. If I bring it back here and put it on me, I left it sitting on the desk. Sorry. But there we go. Now the audio should be a bit better. How's that? Is that better? Nice. Then you could build the oh yeah, the and the Prusa wire. Yeah, he could build a Prusa wire with the leftover parts. Yep, yep. There you go. But yeah, now that the audio should be better, the video should be much nicer. Like I said, stream wise, the quality should be good. But yeah, so the company that came to our area, Jack in the shop, good to see you, Havoc, good to see you guys. I know, real quick, just to touch on some stuff, and then video is great, nice. Just to touch on some stuff, I know I posted that I'm not sure when I was going to stream. Some things in my personal life that I don't talk about. Things were getting a little rough there. It was getting kind of hard. It was taxing. Things are better. Things are better. So I don't know that I'll be streaming this weekend. I'm going to be working on some home network stuff. I have that rack back here. I'm going to see if I can snag a hammer drill over the weekend. I've got some cinder block in my basement that I want to mount that rack to. So I'm going to get some 2x4s and a piece of plywood, mount that to the cinder block, mount the plywood to the 2x4s, and then mount the rack, this rack there, and then I'm going to pull all my network cables into my basement to the network rack. I'll probably have to restring some cable, all that fun stuff. So I'll be doing some networking this weekend to make things a little tidier, a little cleaner, and then I'll have that switch. I'm hoping that I'll also be able to pull the fiber from in the house. I have a fiber patch I want to pull from in the house to out here in the garage, and actually have a fiber line that runs end to end. So hopefully, if all goes well this weekend, I'll have a nice fiber drop end to end, and then the switches I currently have, let me see what I've got for modules. Let me see what you guys are saying real quick, though, because I'm talking and not reading. Glad things are better. Thank you, Havoc. Personal stuff comes first, bud. Dale, yes, it does. Dale Mac 3D. But yes, it does. That's why I figured you guys would understand. I didn't think you guys would get upset when I posted that I needed to take some me time and work on me. I was in a bad place. This one is a 1 gig. What do I got here for modules? I got some modules. I can't remember if my 10 gig are in the right rate. But yeah, even if I do a 1 gig backbone between the house and here, that's nice, but it won't give me my full 1 gig. Are these all just StarTAC 1 gigs? I got a bunch of StarTAC 1 gig SFP, right? SFP. I always get that one confused. 1.5. Oh, wait. What's this? 85010. Sweet. 85010s. Are those 850s as well? Yes, 850s. Good. So these 85010 gig should work in those switches. And I've got two 85010 gig, and the little, I believe the patch cable I have will do 10 gig. I hope. Small form factor pluggable. Yes. See, so I've got a couple of these guys right here. They're 10 gig modules. And then I've got some 1 gig. If they don't work, I can always just fall back on 1 gig. But the backbone between the house and here, if I can get 10 gig between the house and here, that means there will be no problem hitting the house and getting the interwebs. But I have several. If anybody needs a 1 gig, I got StarTAC ones, or these 10 gig ones. I don't have a bunch, but I have a couple of 10 gig ones. So But yeah, so these two 10 gigs, I'm going to keep these. I'm going to try those. We'll see what happens. If they don't work, I'll plug in the 1 gig and we'll just use 1 gig for my home backbone. But you would think, Mr. Sharp, good to see you, man. Hey, so Ryan Sharp, how are you today, good sir? I got my Surf fiber internet installed. So I got my 2 gig to the house. I need some upgraded network equipment though. I got to get some 2.5 gig network equipment. I think little by little we'll get some Ubiquiti stuff and do some upgrades. Maybe I'll get lucky and some way somehow I'll get on Ubiquiti's radar. They'll send me out 2 of their 24 port. I'd prefer a PoE, but I can do without PoE. So if they could send me like 2 of their 24 port 2.5 gig switches, and maybe a nice point to point and a maybe what two APs. Yeah, if they could do that, I would be happy. And for giggles, make it 2 of the 2.5s, 24 port 2.5s. Yeah, they could do 2 of the yeah, they could do that, and then say maybe like 2 or like 2 of the 8 port. That'd be nice. You have 48 port 10 gig Cisco's that I can have for $30. You get a negative ROI in the first month for the power alone. Yeah, actually, what's this one? Is this one 2 gig? Because I got this little guy here. And I can't remember if this one's 2 gig. Yep, 2G. So yeah, this is a 2 gig switch. Huh. I should plug this in the house instead. I mean, granted, it is 54 volt, 2.78 amp. I should plug this one in the house then, because, well, no, maybe. But we can do a 10 gig backbone. And then, yeah. Because this is that Cisco, the Cisco Business 220 series. So, yeah. So there we go. I guess I could plug this in the house instead. So maybe I'll take this in the house. It is only 8 ports though, and technically it's only going to be 7 ports because the equipment is Ethernet. But you know, you still have an ASA 5505. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll take this in the house and plug this in the house instead. And I don't know. We'll see. I do need to redo my home network this weekend though, so that'll be my plan. I've got a box of Cat 6 sitting back here. So I'll pull the cables I gotta pull. I got a big old bundle of fiber sitting up above up there. You don't have any Cat 5 in the walls? Oh, Havoc, you gotta do it, man. Just like drill the holes and make it happen. Put some cut-in boxes instead, like little cut-in plates. So just like cut your hole, drop your drill through the floor, run your network cable up, and then just get a nice little, nice little panel. I do want to say something. 15 minutes in, or 14 minutes, 20 seconds in, and no dropped frames yet. Your house is 5 years old. They didn't cable it. Damn. Yeah, my house is old as dirt, and I'm gonna make sure that when all's said and done, I'm probably gonna take the box that I have in my dining room where my internet comes in. I'm probably gonna take that. There's a standard box there. I'm probably gonna pull all the old cabling back out and then get a 6 port Keystone plate and run my coax into that, my phone line into that. I've got, obviously, the fiber comes through there, which I'll just pass that through. And then
couple network jacks that I'll run, because obviously one of the network jacks will run from the Arrow back down into the basement where the switch, whatever switch I put in the basement in the rack will be. So it'll run into that. And then from there it'll run, you know, out to all the bedrooms and stuff. And then I'll do some more like wall cut-ins and keystones and all that fun stuff. If anybody's got any of that stuff laying around, hit me up in a DM somewhere. I'll tell you where to send it. You can send me that stuff. That'll save me from having to buy it. So if you got it laying around collecting dust and I can put it to use and you want to help, feel free. At least Cat 3 or Token Ring. Yeah, Token Ring was nice. There we go. But yeah, so far in the hour I've had the internet, here's the cool part. Like, the Arrow gets its own, you know, when if you ever did the Arrow stuff, or the Arrow, whatever you want to call it. I call it Arrow. But it has a way, or has its own like speed test built into it. And I'm just making sure, yeah, there's nothing super incriminating here. At about almost 45 minutes ago, Viking, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. Here's my speeds to the Arrow. So there's my internet right now to my house now. So cannot complain. Like I said, the limitation on my network right now is everything. So 2 gig to the house, and with their like introductory for life pricing. This is the cool part about this company so far. Like I said, they're new to the area. They're building out the infrastructure. There's not too much that I can say past the last hour. But what I can say is $95 a month is what their introductory rate is for my area. My internet, my Mediacom internet is 1 gig down, 50 meg up, and it is double that price. So of course we locked in at the 95 with a $5 a month discount for me working in the education sector. So since I work for an EDU, I get a $5 a month discount, which $5 a month doesn't sound like much, but when you think about it over a year, that's $60 saved. Shrimp Daddy, good to see you. Dinner time here, waiting for tokens as you continue to work on Tinker Atlas. Speaking of, all of you here have already signed up for Tinker Atlas, but if somebody is lurking or sees this after the fact, go to tinkeratlas.com, sign up for an account. Help my good friend Viking out in growing the awesome site that he is working on. But wait, is it mid-cent? Mid-cent what? No, it's Surf Fiber, if that's what you're talking about. But it's Surf Internet is what it's called. It's fiber out of Indiana, but they're everything bounces out of the Chicago area for us. Go figure. You just got a filament to start reprinting all the parts for the Pandora's box. Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. I honestly will not lie. I have not done anything 3D printing related. And this stream is, I'm not even going to touch them behind me, but you guys can see there is the Cobra 3 with the Ace. I did get some filament in. I've got the white. What were they? I forget what colors I just got. Oh, hold on. It was halfway unlocked. We've got the matte cotton white. This is the army beige, I believe, and then the sapphire blue, and then black. Which black, I don't exactly remember, but black, matte black. So those are the colors I got loaded. I'll have to find a model and do that. But Central 3D Sparkle Black, nice. Oh, refer to your previous question. Oh, let me back up to your previous question, good sir. Any further issues with Smooth Rock McPhone? Nah, oddly, yeah. Hold on, I gotta tell you guys a funny story. So some of you guys remember Ryan is the installer that did the phone service, not phone system, phone service transition at my employer. We transitioned from a company that starts with an F and has like a red or a maroon color to a company that has a name that is stone-like. And in making the transition, there was some phone numbers that had gotten forgotten to be ported over. So sent them the list of the phone numbers, and in doing so, some way, somehow, they they ported over a phone number that doesn't belong to my employer, that wasn't in our scope of numbers. And they were trying to get us to give them a letter or some kind of documentation that showed that we own the number. And I'm like, I don't have anything for that number. And the guy that owns the number called and wanted to know why his phone number was forwarding to our facility. And I had to explain to him that I don't know how that happened, because we aren't the ones doing that. We have a third-party company, and the company we're transitioning to, that are taking care of all that. And I am just the man on one end, and somewhere between the middle and the end, it got put in there somehow. And the maroon company made the transition and let that number go. So I spent about a half an hour on the phone with this guy yesterday, explaining to him that I do apologize. That's not my fault. I did not give them that number. I did not show them that number in my scope of numbers. And then emailed the company, our middleman. I emailed them and said, hey, the person who owns that number just contacted me and said he'd like his number back. So they had to submit a release to release that number back to the gentleman that owned the number that we never owned and never asked to have ported over. So Ryan, I hope that makes you chuckle a little bit more, because that's an interesting one to have happen, you know. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. And yes, porting numbers is not fun, especially when you're stuck in the middle of something that you shouldn't even have to deal with. But hopefully this gentleman's number goes back to him and stops calling my building. Actually, no. The funny part was, since none of those numbers are actually carrying over, they decided, they asked me about porting those numbers, and I was like, look, here's the deal. If we ain't got to pay for them, then don't port them. If we're not using them, let's just not worry about it. The one I just changed, the one direct dial number to my extension, I just changed it to a different number that was in the port list. And I'm just using that number now instead. Not a big deal. It was only my number. And I don't give that number out to a lot of places, just my kids' school, my wife, and my family. So I just updated them all saying, hey, call this number now. Especially dealing with certain carriers. Clown Hammer, yes. But no, so that was that fun. Kind of back here now. Now the fun part is I have to call my cable service provider. I'm gonna give it a day or two, because the bill's not due, and I don't want to get dinged another billing cycle. But we've got a little bit of time before the billing cycle hits, and we're gonna get dinged for more. So I'm going to call my internet service provider prior and let them know that we are canceling service. And then my wife will be going that direction. She can drop the modem off on her way down, And then we won't owe, everything will be good, and we should be clear from there. And we're going to save half price pretty much with this new service provider. And again, it's a locked in for life rate. And as long as I continue to work for the school, I save $5 a month. And if something ever happens and I lose the job at the school, it's only going to increase by $5 a month. The only thing that will change will be the taxes and fees that state and federal charge, and that's outside their control. So, right, the guy in control lost the DID. Yeah. Yes, I do agree, Ryan. I do agree. But so my weekend now will consist of setting up my redoing my home network in the house, uh, and possibly, um, like I said, possibly running the fiber from the house to the garage and having a nice fiber backbone. And if the 10 gigs will work with the switches I have, then we'll have a nice 10 gig backbone between the house and the garage. And it'll be a nice fiber backbone, which will be awesome. Exactly, Ryan. MediaCom, where everyone is where everyone is a valued customer, but only when you cancel. Because when you cancel, they will give you all the deals to try and keep you on their service. But they cannot give me the speed at the price. And since they can't give me that speed at that price, there's no way they're going to convince me to come back. Ain't going to happen. Because how the hell are you going to tell me that a service that you don't offer, you're going to give me? You know, and especially with a guaranteed rate for life. Yeah, this company, if they can produce, like they're saying, if they can produce the service, and we don't have any issues, like, you know, I get that sometimes things happen, people cut fiber and all that fun stuff. I get all that. You know, I get that there are things outside their means that do happen, but you know, hopefully this will be a nice, speedy interwebs. I do have to double check and make sure. Narf. What's going on, Zolan? How you doing, Z? But I got to double check and make sure that I'm not on like a shared fiber where like my IP address is specific to me and not shared with many other people. I'm pretty sure this is a, you know, IP to IP type thing, which is nice because then I'll have a nice public IP on a nice fast internet and I can do all kinds of fun stuff. Loving your 2.4 gigabit per internet or gigabit internet. Yes. I currently, sir, am now at 2 gig, but my whole home network is 1 gig. So we have a lot of overhead available. Still use Cloudflare. Yeah, I've got a Cloudflare account as well, which that is what I'll be doing as well when the time comes. And then I can play around with some of these Raspberry Pis and stuff, and we can set up little home servers to play around with stuff and have access to things like being able to remote into the printers and things a little easier now because, you know, use Cloudflare and enough overhead, I won't have to worry as much. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty cool so far. We've been streaming for 30 minutes and still no dropped frames. That's better than what I got with MediaCom. MediaCom even bumping down and doing what was less than recommended, because even on MediaCom they said that I could stream at the at a bit rate of 10,000 kilobits plus. And at 10,000 kilobits plus, I was dropping frames constantly, so I dropped it down all the way to 5,000 because when it would drop, and you guys would notice issues. So now when it dips to, it's still in the 9,000s, and it's like the high 9,000s, 99 and some change. So video bit rate is holding solid. Connection appears to be good. You guys haven't said anything about the stream looking like hot garbage, so that's good. I'm gonna bump it up full screen here, and I'm gonna change it from, yeah, for me in the preview window, I only get to see 480p. So let me drop that out. Let me actually go to my channel, youtube.com/@MakerMindNexus. Let me go to my live. Let me mute it because I don't think you guys want to hear me in loop. And it is showing HD 1080 60. I mean, it looks good. And, you know, cannot complain. The stream looks like hot garbage. Does it? Is it me? Is it this that, or is it my everything around me? I do need to clean out here too. But yeah. It's going to be shared unless it's lease line physically anyway. Yeah, it's always shared like that. But I just want to make sure that like my equipment's pulling its own IP and I'm not sharing the, well, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping I have like a public IP that I can, you know, do my thing with. It was your monitor, sawdust everywhere. Yeah, Jack, I get it, man. You're in the shop with the CNC, yeah, so you're just throwing sawdust everywhere. But yeah, no, I mean, it looks okay to me. I mean, I don't usually watch myself, so I mean, it looks good to me. Usually the little preview window within YouTube Studio is all I see, and that always kicks down. It doesn't give you the option to go higher than usually 480 there, which is good. The audio streamers current bitrate is zero is lower than the recommended bitrate. We recommend that you use an audio bitrate of 128K. Oh, I should check the audio. I could probably bump that up now too, because that was just the video part of it, not the audio. Let's see here. Let's go into settings. Can I change that while streaming? Let's go to audio. No, not while streaming. But we'll bump that up a bit. We'll bump up the sample rate and stuff. Output video bitrate. There we go. It says 128K. Let's do 192. Yeah, we'll do 192 for audio. Why not? We should have enough overhead, and I hope I didn't mess with anything during the stream. The stream might have glitched. But maybe the audio is better now. You guys got to let me know. I don't know if the audio is going to sound any different. I don't know if you guys are going to hear a difference, but maybe you do. Mr. C-Tunes, how you doing? Good to see you as well. Yeah, like I said, guys, I don't usually talk about like you know, the personal stuff, like the kids coming out here and stuff. We talk about things and whatnot. And I'm pretty transparent, but there are things in my life I don't want to share and I don't want to talk about. And you guys are very respectful about that, so that's awesome. But like I said, the life had gotten a bit crazy for a couple weeks. Things were just a little all over the place, and I slipped into a rut. Mentally, I was broken. And in the last probably 24 to 48 hours, the last 20, not even 24 hours, in the last probably 12 hours, things have definitely, I don't know, more than 12 hours now, but things have gotten better in the last day. Let's put it that way. Things have gotten better in the last day. I'm feeling a little better. It's been a lot of good news today. Like I said, the grandson is getting released from the hospital, so we'll get to see him here this evening in a little while. We should be able to see him. He should be heading home, hopefully in the next half hour. And then we'll get to see the little guy. And then, you know, the internet obviously is a good thing. It helps with the stream and around the house with, you know, the wife watching stuff, the kids doing things, all that fun stuff. And then tonight I do have to go into work for a few hours. Just know that Andrew Rogers, thank you very much, good sir, for the Good News Fund. Always good news and always appreciated. Thank you very much, good sir. But yeah, so little man is coming home. The internet got improved, and the roughly 4 hours I'm going to work tonight are all overtime hours. Work has been taking a lot out of me. I'm currently sitting on 7.5 hours of overtime, and I'm going to put 4 more in. So I'm going to have 11.5 hours, maybe 12 hours of overtime on my next check. I should have that, which will be nice because I need it right now. So that'll be nice. That'll help out. Anybody who works in anybody who works in a situation where you can get what they like to call comp time. I don't know if anybody knows what comp time is. Most of you probably do. Hola, amigos. You get to stay home today because no work. Overtime pay is fantastic. The overwork part sucks though. Yes, it does, Andrew Rogers. Yes, it does. And the crazy part is like I said, even if I didn't go into work today, I still had almost an entire work day of overtime coming. Granted, you lose that to taxes, but you know, it's just nice. Your employer doesn't believe in comp time and you are salary, so every overtime blows. Yes, it does, Olan. I understand completely. But yeah, for those who don't like, comp time at places can mean different things. But for me, what comp time means is I can basically store up that time, and instead of using vacation time or sick pay, I can use my comp time. At the start of the school year, because I know I am working so much, I take the overtime because it's the one time I know that like the last 2 to 4 weeks before school starts are like the busiest for me, and that's when I spend the most time in the building. I want to be compensated for that, so I fill out for overtime. I get my overtime, and I'm happy because my check looks a little nicer, and it helps kind of dig me out of what little rut I might be in. And by little I mean big rut. But my plan is for this year is I'm going to use that comp time for whatever I need to take time off for. So I'll build up enough comp time that when the office tells me, hey, you've built up too much comp time, you need to take a day off, I'll look at my assistant, because now that I have an assistant, I can say, hey, assistant, you can you work this day and work the whole day? And then the assistant will work the whole day, and I will take the day off, burn up some of that comp time, and then my hope is that over the next year in schools, it is July 1 through June 30. That's your year. So my hope is that I don't use any vacation time, any sick time, and that stuff will roll over. So my hope is that July next year, I will have my assistant trained up well enough. We'll have a lot of the stuff that needs to be done. It'll just be tedious little stuff that he'll do, and I'll be able to take July 1 through the last week, not the last week. I'll be back for the last week of July. So I'll take those 3 weeks in July off and actually be able to just next summer work on projects around the house, stream more, hang out with you guys, sleep in, stay up late, and just enjoy the month of July next year. Maybe take my wife and just go somewhere, just the two of us, just get away for hell, maybe if financially things get better, we rent an RV, the two of us load up, and we just drive around, and when we're passing through places where my friends are, we can meet up and have some dinner, and then I can take my wife to all the pretty things she wants to see, and it'll just be the two of us. We can take like a 3-week road trip. If not, we're going to go to one place, spend time together, rekindle the flame, fall back in love, all that fun stuff you do in a marriage. head desk. You get frustrated with the AI routine. I was working on yesterday with the talking like a pirate now. Yes, yes. Andrew Rogers. Thankfully, my employer is very nice about the you can bank up some comp time versus the we have to force your hand to either take time off every week when you go over or we have to pay out the overtime. Thankfully, I have a maybe an unwritten agreement on the comp time thing, which works for me because it never fails. Sometimes I have to take time off, grab the daughter and take her to a doctor's appointment because whoever was going to take her can't take her now or whatever the case may be. Um, but right now, it looks like if things play out, I'll have about 2.5 hours of comp time every week. And I believe I can bank up to 16 hours before I have to take time off. So what I can do is basically bank up 2 days worth of comp time, and then after that, we'll take a day off, hang out, have an all day stream or something with you guys while using up some of that comp time. And as long as Surf Internet continues to provide good service, we'll have great streams. And who knows, maybe I'll get lucky and I put a little Surf logo in the corner and Surf gives me another kickback on my bill. Get one for education and one for promotion. That'd be pretty sweet. Yeah, pay $80 a month for 2 gig internet. I wouldn't complain, Surf. If you guys are watching and you guys want to give me a $10 bump, I'll put a little Surf logo like right here, right over here, just putting that out there. Off Axis, what's going on, brother? Hope things are going well for you, sir. I hope life is on an up and up. If not, brother, I apologize and I send good vibes. If this RV's a rockin', exactly, Mike. Sorry, man, I had to read backwards. But yes. No, I mean, we got 42 minutes in, guys. I'm probably only going to stream for about another 15. I just wanted to give it a little like shakedown. Tonight when I go to work, I'm going to see what miscellaneous things I could bring home to help me for the weekend. And then probably tomorrow morning, I don't really know what we have planned. I don't remember what my wife said we have planned, but I'll probably tomorrow morning get up, mount that rack, or hell, I might even do it, at 11 o'clock tonight when I get home. Or depending on when we go running around and doing stuff, if I can get my hands on, I think I got Tapcons floating around here somewhere. I'll have to look. I got some Tapcons. I can mount some 2x4s to the wall, put a piece of plywood up, mount that rack right there is the rack. I'm going to mount that in my basement, and then I'll get my switch mounted up, and I have a patch panel floating around here for it too somewhere. Somewhere around here I got it's in the box behind it. Yeah, in the box behind it I got a patch panel, so I'll actually do a nice little patch panel setup and have a nice looking little basement setup, my nice little basement office. Then I can, down the road, I can work on setting up a little home server, put in the house to store videos and movies and music and pictures and all that fun stuff in the house. And then out here in the garage, we've got this little fella right here that Orange Pie is sending me 2 of their 3Bs. So I'll have 2 Orange Pi 3Bs I'm going to put in there. I'll have 2 Orange Pi 3Bs. I think I'm going to grab my other Raspberry Pi 5 and throw in there. So I'll have 2 Raspberry Pi 5s, 2 Orange Pi 3Bs, and then I have an Alta board, and I don't know what else. I'll throw another one of the Libres in there, and I'll have 6 devices in there. So that'd be pretty cool. Nice little rack that I can, set on the desk or whatever. Kind of go from there. Excited here in the Northeast Georgia. They're running fiber in your neighborhood. Then you're going to have 2 gig symmetric for a really good price. Andrew Rogers, 2 gig symmetric from Surf Internet is $95 price lock. Like introductory rate, get in. It was go 1 gig for $80 a month or go 2 gig for $95. So pay an extra $15, price lock it, and get it for life. And then obviously, again, the taxes and fee, like the taxes are the only thing that'll, inflate the price. What's up, Arne? Arne? I always mess that up. I'm sorry. What's going on, man? Good to see you. That's a screaming deal. It is, man. That's why I'm saying. And then on top of it, like I was saying earlier, Andrew, before you got here, because I work in education, they offer a $5 discount per month. So instead of 95, I pay 90. So you figure you still get the taxes and everything. So, but still, so $90 a month. It was free install, free equipment, and all I've got to do now is just pay the per month. And so I have to call. They said we get everything set up, and then you call the next day to set up the payment and everything. So tomorrow's Saturday, but I will call them tomorrow, and if it doesn't work out, I'll call them on Monday. It's not a big deal. But we'll give them a call. We'll get everything set up. We'll do the automatic. We'll do the automatic payment and get that all taken care of. And then I'm halving my internet bill. So I'm paying about $180 a month for cable, and this will be $90 a month plus fees. So I'll probably save about $60 a month is my guess. So $60 a month, again, doesn't seem like a lot, but when you times that by 12, what is that, $720 a month or a year, right? Let's see, 12 times 60. 12 times 60, yes, $720 a year saved. And I doubled my download speed and 40x'd my upload speed. Yeah. Hell of a deal. If you guys get something like that comes through your area and you can get a price lock like that, do it. But again, we are guinea pigs right now because the service is just being laid in my area. They had to run the fiber from the pot in the front yard to my house, which meant they had to, there's an exposed fiber line currently laying across my yard. They'll be out. They said it's usually 1 to 2 weeks. They'll come out and drop the line. They just pull up, bury the fiber, and leave. So there's that. Realistically, I could go out there with a spade shovel and just chisel into the ground a little ways and just drop it and put the grass back and call it good. No mowing. Exactly, Clown Hammer. See this? See that? It's like, darn, I guess I can't mow. No, I told my wife, I was like, yeah, I will, I do have to mow this weekend, but I will be not mowing anywhere near that black cable. I am not going near that black cable. I don't want an accidental like tree branch flips and the fiber gets pulled into the blades. I will leave at least a 6-foot gap between the mower and the fiber on any side. Have her stand and hold it up. Yeah, I could. I could. The problem is where the utilities come in, they're on the other side of the sidewalk. So it comes out of the pot. They have to come up out of the pot so that they can run it because they don't trench to the sidewalk. But it comes up out of the pot, goes over to, I call it a pot. I might be calling that wrong. If somebody wants to correct me, please tell me. I'd rather speak proper. But it's buried. So it's in the ground. It looks like a pot. I call it a pot. But it comes out of that, comes over to the sidewalk. He trenched under the sidewalk and popped back up in my yard and then just ran it out and then across to the house. So it runs straight down the side, or from the sidewalk, it runs straight through the yard, turns, and then goes over. Water box. Okay. So water box. That makes sense too. But it runs over and then turns and then goes up to the house and then comes up, and then it transitions from the fiber to the other fiber that then runs inside, and then transitions from there to then it's got the box that converts it from fiber to 2.5 gig Ethernet, and then it goes into the Arrow, which has got a 2.5 in and a 2.5 out, and does the Wi-Fi for the house. So, yeah. That's what you call them when you put them in. Okay, so water box. Okay, Jack. That helps. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's just a box to keep the water out and keeps all your shit buried. But the kid that did the install, same age as my kids, young guy, got himself a kiddo, and seems like pretty smart kid. He came out, he got it spliced in, and I mean, I helped him out as much as I could. I told him, like, hey man, look, I was like, I used to be an installer for Mediacom, the cable company. I was like, I understand the headache when you get a customer that doesn't do shit or won't talk to you and they just stand there like this the whole time. I said, I get that. I said, if I'm bothering you and you want to just get done and get out of here, I'll leave you be. I said, otherwise, if you want, I'll give you a hand. I can help you pull the fiber. I said, hell, in the house, I'll even, fish it through the wall so you don't have to do that while you're out here finishing up. And he said, yeah, that's fine. So I went in, grabbed a coat hanger, poked it down through the hole in the wall into the basement. He pushed the Y cable. He called it a Y cable. Pushed the Y cable through. I grabbed it, fished it over where it needed to be, taped it on, pulled it up through so it was ready to go. And I told him, I said, yeah, I got more than enough slack up here. We should be good. He said, all right, cool. So then he finished up on his end, got everything tidied up in the box, brought the equipment in, plugged everything in. I mean, he said his usual fiber installs take him about 2 hours, 2.5 hours to do an install because, again, the infrastructure is not in place. So they're running the fiber, terminating the ends, doing all that fun stuff when they come out right now. Over time, that stuff will all be mounted to the houses and ready to go. It'll just be a matter of, running the line into the house, because right now what they're doing is mounting the boxes on the houses and moving on to the next one. Unless you're signing up for service, then they'll poke the hole and fish the cable in. And I say cable, I mean fiber. So, but yeah, it was about an hour and a half it took him for about a 2.5 hour job. So I helped knock about an hour off of his time by doing most of the work, not most, but doing the inside work for him so he didn't have to go in and out of the house. Then he came in, hooked up the equipment, ran through the provisioning process. I now have a awesome little app on my phone that shows me my internet speeds, which while I'm streaming, I am going to run another speed test to the Arrow because I want to see with my streaming how that affects my upload download. So I'm going to run another surf internet speed test just to see with throwing this connection out there if it's going to do anything. I'm not seeing any dips or anything, so running a speed test while doing my stream is not affecting anything. I know my wife is currently watching TV, and that ain't affecting anything either, guys, because check this out. Hold on. Let me tell that to stop moving. Lock. There we go. There you go. At 1:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. Got a 2.04 and a 2.07. So I'm happy. I'm very happy. I just glitched. Oh, I did. I dropped 57 frames dropped. So while running the speed test, it did have a little effect, but oddly enough, it wasn't Wasn't enough to even consider it a point anything percent of dropped frames. So there you go. If I run a speed test while doing a stream, it will affect the stream a little bit. Even when I changed the audio source and it refreshed everything, it didn't do anything. Did you guys even notice when I changed the audio source? Did you guys even notice anything? Does the audio sound any different? No change that you can notice? Okay. I will probably going to bump that up a little bit more then, because like I said, this should be more than sufficient for everything. Let's see here. Let's go to output. Let's take the audio bit rate all the way up to 320. Why not? Apply. Everything's refreshing. And there we go. All right. Pump it up to 320 on my audio. And yeah, the audio part, you guys probably won't even notice. LTX, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, we're still sitting on 56 drop frames total in the last almost hour of streaming. So I would have to say, yes, thank you, LTX. Yeah, I like I said, guys, there's quick cliff notes. Again, there was a lot going on in the personal life that I don't talk about. My mental state was not good at all. And I knew that if I streamed, it was going to be a very terrible thing. I probably would not have, I mean, I know you guys would have understood, but I would have probably been in a place where I wouldn't have been happy with myself. And I didn't want to do that. So I stepped back. Like I said, I can't guarantee any streams this weekend. I'm going to work on, installing the network rack in the house and getting all that stuff going. Kind of work on upgrading the home network. Might be something cool to, record some clips and then splice it together to make a video out of. I might do something like that and then upload it to the channel as just a, hey, look at this, The panels are going out this afternoon, by the way. Thank you very much, LTX. And for anybody who doesn't know, LTX does like laser cutting for acrylics and all kinds of stuff. What panels did you go with, by the way, LTX? I'm sorry, I forgot, man. Which ones was it? Got your second carbon yesterday. Happy, happy, happy. Dude, that's awesome. I am not gonna lie. I really, really, really love the carbon. I have been having some problems with it printing ASA, but I also have not been focused when I'm trying to print with the ASA. I just probably gonna need to just sit down now that things are getting a little better. I'll sit down and actually like work. I think I need to dry the ASA. The matte black acrylic. Thank you, man. That's awesome. Yeah, it's going to look sweet. So when he gets those, or when those get here, we'll kind of strip the lab rack down a little bit and put those on. So that'll be pretty cool. Drago, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing well. By the way, guys, just understand one thing. When I say what's going on, man, it's not me assuming anything. It's just my greeting. So take no offense, please. It's just how I greet people. Just like when I say, hey, guys, I know that there may be some females or those who do not associate with the male persuasion, and that's fine. I'm not attacking in any way. It's just a general, how you doing? It's probably just say, hey, how you doing? But I'm 46 years old. I grew up in a time where we always just said, hey, guys, how you doing? Plus a large portion of my audience is male and does identify as such. So it is never meant as it's never meant in a slanderous way. I do want to be clear of that, because if anybody does pop in and hears that and gets upset, it's not my intention in any way. And for those of you who know me and have been here for days, weeks, months, or years, you know me, and you know it's never my intention to hurt or harm anyone or upset anyone in any way. I try to stay as neutral as possible, and old habits die hard. So just get that out of the way. But it's good to see everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. And as I said, we've hit the hour mark. I had a really good stream, and with the exception of running a speed test, which dogged the network for a moment to try and get as fast as it could, which it did, I am going to now go in the house and probably upset my wife by taking this Cisco switch in and plugging it in the house. I was going to try and sell the switch, I'm not going to lie, but it's a 2.5 gig switch. Not like anything in my house is 2.5 gig. But I'm probably not going to take this switch in the house. I'm not going to lie. Not going to lie. My grandson's probably going to be heading home soon, and I'm going to want to be able to see little man finally outside of the hospital, see his cute little butt. I'm checking to see if there's any updates on anything, and so far nobody has said anything, but we have streamed for a whole hour. The internet, the connection stayed good. Everything is solid. So that being said, gang, I thank everybody for coming and hanging out. For those of you who just popped in right at the end, apologies. I did not advertise I was streaming because this was just a test the internet stream, and it did well. Did very well. So if I can stream this weekend, I will try to be better about putting it in the post, put in the post tab here on YouTube. So make sure you got the like, follow, and all that good jazz going on. Subscribe, all that fun stuff, so that you guys ring the bell and all that stuff. That way you guys will get notifications there. Otherwise, check X. I try to just blast it out there. I know some of you don't use X. You have your reasons. That's fine. I just built a large following on X over the years, and a large portion of my following is still there. So kind of old, and I don't want to have to start over again. So it's where you'll find it either here under the post tab, or you'll find it over there. But I do thank you guys very much for coming and hanging out. I'm going to find little projects to keep my mind busy in the house, probably, go down in my basement and clear the area where I'm going to mount this rack and get that part ready to go. And then probably bring that rack in the house and the network cable so I can restring cables where I'm going to need to. And then, yeah, kind of go from there. So you guys, again, have a great rest of your day. Have a wonderful weekend. If I do stream, watch for it, and that'll be awesome. If not, I will probably be lurking in others' streams. So, but yeah, gang, have a great day. Stay out of trouble, stay out of jail. Happy 3D printing, all those nerdy things, and see you guys when I see you guys. Bye, gang.